What's up everyone, David Seven Skies here, broadcasting from the Seven Skies Mansion, and welcome to another episode of Tutorial Tuesday. Today I'm gonna talk about something that is often very scary for electronic music producers, mostly because it's not very intuitive the way it works, and also because there are very good libraries and very good content for it that doesn't really need much tweaking, so you just load your stuff and you use it. You never really have to dig into it, but if you do, you'll see that it has so many potentials, and that's why my new plugin Get Low is gonna be in there. I'm obviously talking about Native Instruments Kontakt. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna explain a few tips and tricks on how to use it, how to organize your presets, but I will also show you how to create your own instrument, or at least import samples. I am not gonna go into coding for Kontakt, not in this video, but you let me know in the comments down below if you would like me to just go over Kontakt script. I am not an expert in Kontakt script, but I can do a little bit of it, and I can explain a little bit of it, and you can definitely create your own instrument with a nice interface and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to do that in future videos. But once again, I'm not going to do that today. Another thing that I'm going to explain today is something that I get asked at least once a week, and is how to set the pitch bend range in Kontakt. It's actually very easy, but if you don't know where it is, I can understand it's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm also gonna show you how to add some modulation, for example, like envelopes on filters and that kind of stuff. And finally, I'll show you how to save your instruments with your samples and the different options that you have when you do this. This week's Tutorial Tuesday is going to be very exciting for me because first of all, there's not that many Kontakt tutorials out there. If there are, I don't know, it feels like they never really show useful stuff, at least for electronic music. That's why I wanted to do this video, and I really love Kontakt, and for me it is very exciting to explain how Kontakt works to you guys. So can't wait to start with this tutorial. But before we start, don't forget to hit that bell button, because I'll be around for 30 minutes every time I upload a video, and I'll reply to all of your comments, and we can have a live chat for the first 30 minutes. And we're ready to go. Time to turn on live, open Kontakt, and start this week Tutorial Tuesday. Damn it, the chair didn't flip the right way. Okay, so here we are in live, and Kontakt is open. As you can see, I don't have that many libraries, because this is a legal version of Kontakt, and libraries are insanely expensive in Kontakt. So yeah, there's not much to it, but only the stuff that I use. And yeah, so our Kontakt is open, and there's obviously no instruments. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and load kashmir vocal. I'm just simply gonna grab it from the live inspector and just drag it on this dark window in Kontakt. You can do that from the Finder, from Windows. Just grab a file, drag it in, it'll work. But this is pretty handy in live. As soon as they do this, you see Kontakt will create something that is called an instrument. And if I'm playing my keys, you hear is playing the samples, and I have all my notes. I can play my samples in all the notes that I want. Now, one very important thing is that you need to know what key the sample you're using is in. Right now, we are using a sample that is in C#, and I loaded Serum here, just an init sound, just to hear the right notes. So if I'm hitting C, and I'm hitting C here, you'll hear that the note is not the same. So what I have to do is I can select both sounds, and we hit this little tool key, whatever tool icon in Kontakt, and that will open the editor, which is the scary part of Kontakt. And I'll explain a little bit of how it works, but right now we are trying to figure out the right key of our sound, and the way we do it is, the way we change it is by moving this tune knob. And since we are in C sharp and the root of the samples in Kontakt and pretty much every other sampler is C, we just need to take it down only by a semitones, and we just drag it down one semitones. And now our sample is in key, so whatever melody we're gonna play is gonna be in key with all of our other synthesizer. Alright, so like I said, this is the Kontakt editor, and it's definitely not the simplest or friendliest interface out there. Don't get me wrong, I love Kontakt, but I really hate working with this, even if I'm very used to it. But this is what we get. And here we have all these slots that are simply just inserts for our effects. And over here we have different ways to affect or playback our sample. Now, I'm not gonna go into detail with these different algorithms, but basically DFD is the default one and is the one that works best if you want to have it behaving like a normal sampler, and it will basically stretch the file to reach a certain note. So the higher you go with the pitch, the faster the file will play. So if I'm playing a normal C, this is the original tone of our sample. If I am gonna play 2 octave higher, you'll hear that it's way shorter and it will play way faster than this one. While if I play it a couple semitones, a couple octave lower, you'll hear that it takes way longer to play back the whole file. So this works pretty much like a vinyl. The faster it spins, the higher the pitch of the track. The slower it spins, the lower the tone of the track. We can change that. We can have Kontakt sort of guessing and interpolating the file in a way that it will always play the file with the same length, and it will just sort of pitch shift the frequencies. Time Machine is the one that works best. Time Machine 2, Time Machine Pros gives us a little bit of a better result, but I am still not really a fan of this kind of pitch interpolation. But here is how it sounds. It usually sounds very metallic. You can hear that the start is a little bit metallic-y. Let's try Time Machine 2. As you can hear, it doesn't really sound that well. Besides, I kind of like the fact that it behaves like a sample. I think it has a more vintage sound to it. And speaking of vintage, they'll also give you MP60 and S1200, which are two very famous, very old sampler as well. It will give you the same algorithm that they used, which is not the same algorithm, but it will basically have that sort of sound. You'll hear it a lot in the higher frequencies when you play, especially when you play drums, but even when you play samples like this sometimes. Not really sure you can hear it right now. But anyway, let's just go back to our DFD. We can also decide what quality of interpolation and stretch Kontakt is going to use. We can use perfect. I would just probably go with either high or standard. And all right, so this is how you set up your sample to be played within Kontakt. Now, the question that everybody asks me all the time is, how do you set up the pitch and the pitch range in Kontakt? Well, it's actually already assigned, because this is the pitch over here, and if I play my sample, you can hear that it's already assigned, but it only goes up 2 semitones. And normally, especially with dance music, what you want it to do is go up either 5, 7, or 12 semitones, or sometimes even more. And how do you change that? Over here, you can't see anything. Over here, you can't see anything. If you look in the menus, you won't find anything. But what is pitch bend? Pitch bend is a modulation. And if you look at here, here is where we are controlling our pitch. And if you see over here, there is a little tab that says mod that indicates modulation. And if you click on it, you'll see pitch bend. And if you see over here, you see a slider that says, guess what? 2 semitones. So if we drag that all the way up, it'll get 12 semitones. And now if we play our sample, I'm just gonna play lower notes so I can have some times to go up. And now we're going up 12 semitones. And you might argue, what if I want to go up 24 semitones? Well, what you would do, unless you're using scripting, is go here, add an external source modulation, and you'll see over here it's pitch bend. You select it again, and there you go. You still have 2 semitones. You take it up to 12 semitones, and what's that gonna do is gonna add basically 12 semitones to 12 more semitones, and that's gonna take it up to 24. Now we don't really need it to 24, so we can delete this one. But this is how you control and you set the pitch bend range in Kontakt. As you can see, it's very simple, but it's not super clear of where it is. Once again, you need to be very used to the Kontakt editor interface, because otherwise it's a bit of a mess. All right, so these are the modulation, and they actually work fairly well. What we can do is we already have an envelope here that will control our our amplitude. Nothing new here. But for example, if we insert a filter, let's put a Moog filter, we can also control this cutoff with a modulation within Kontakt. Now, if you don't know what a modulation on the cutoff does, I made a video that you will probably see popping somewhere here, where I explain how envelope on the filter works and what it does. So go check that out if you don't know it. If you know it, stay here, don't move, don't go. You click on modulation, add modulation envelopes. We are just going to use AHDSR, which is attack, hold, decay, sustain, release. We're going to click it, and you're going to see that there's a new modulation. Now, if you're not sure which one is which, you just hit this one and you see Kontakt will highlight it for you. And now what this is going to do, let's just make it very quick. You see that our cutoff is controlled by this envelope. And that's pretty cool, because then if we add something like a screamer, which is a distortion, we can have really cool effects. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the type of filter. And I'm going to adjust the envelope here. And so what you can hear is from this original sample, we can get a sound that is like this. Now, what else would a synthesizer, and here we're gonna go like deep into scripting just for a second, just because I wanna show you how powerful Kontakt can be. On a sound like this, if you just put it in simpler or sampler or whatever, you would probably want it to be legato, and have that, you know, that glide effect. And the way you do it in Kontakt is very it's not super complicated. That's because there's a scripted preset already done for you. But you would go here in the script editor and you would load preset, factory, and I think it's in performance. Yes, you just go into unison and portamento and you get this thing. This is the script, but we don't care about this, so we can close that. And we set this thing to mono mode and set this to on. And now you'll hear that the sound is going to be legato. This is going to be the time, the glide time. So you can hear Kontakt is insanely powerful when you know how to use it. If you go through the presets, through the scripting preset, you'll find a lot of really cool scripts that will allow you to, you know, put an arpeggiator, put an automatic chord generator, for example. You have legato, unison, all that kind of stuff. It's really worth messing with it because you can get some really interesting and cool sounds out of it. Also, this is very important. You can only do this with the pro or full version of Kontakt. If you have Kontakt player, you're not going to be able to access the instrument editor, and you're probably not even going to be able to add a sample in Kontakt player. I mean, I think you can do it for like 20 minutes, but then it will stop. So this only works with the full version of Kontakt. Now, so this is basically how you can import your samples and sort of mess with them a little bit if you want to add cutoff, if you want to add distortion, if you want to mess with the envelopes. Always remember, basically, the modulations, you can assign them from this mod tab over here, and you can assign, I don't even know how many modulations you can assign per parameter, but they're actually quite many. So every time you just want to add a modulation, for example, if I want to add a new modulation that just controls the resonance, or actually let's just use the same modulation that controls the cutoff to also control the resonance. What I would do is add a modulator over here, existing envelope cutoff, and over here in the destination, we're just going to go and click resonance instead of cutoff this time, because cutoff is already being modulated on the slot above. And there you can hear that now we're modulating both the cutoff and the resonance. And if we want to modulate the resonance just a little bit, not as much as we were just doing, we can take this slider over here and just take it down a little bit. And this is how you modulate stuff in Kontakt. Now, one last thing, just to make sure you understand how it all works. The same thing you can do with the pitch. You can modulate the pitch with whatever you want. You can use LFOs, but for the sake of it, let's use another envelope. You'll see that there's a new envelope once again. And if you once again don't know which one it is, just hit this icon over here. There you go. I'm gonna bypass the filter for a second so you can hear what's happening. And now we're gonna have a sweepy sound that's gonna modulate our tune. If we combine everything together, so let's unbypass the filter. The original sample was this one, and now we're getting something that sounds. Nothing like it. And as always, from me, David Seven Skies, see you next time, and bye bye.